Please click on the subscribe button so you get notified when the latest content drops. Now, let's kick it. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, to the Warriors offseason moves. So the Warriors offseason started with a sad goodbye to one of the greatest Warriors to ever don the blue and gold. Klay Thompson signed a 3-year, $50 million deal to take his talents to the Dallas Mavericks in a sign-and-trade deal, which was the first ever 6-team trade. Warriors would then go on to sign D'Anthony Melton to a 1-year, $12.8 million deal, then acquired Kyle Anderson in a sign-and-trade deal, signing Anderson to a 3-year, $27 million contract and sending cash plus a future second-round pick swap to the Timberwolves. They would also go on to acquire Buddy Hield in another sign-and-trade deal with the 76ers that guarantees him 2 years for $21 million in exchange for his second-round pick they acquired from the Dallas Mavericks in the Klay Thompson sign-and-trade. Now, my friends, let's break down these new acquisitions. Let's start off with D'Anthony Melton, who is a 6-year veteran averaging 9 points, 3.5 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal and a half a game through his NBA career. The last 3 seasons, one could argue, have been the best of the 26-year-old's career. Aside from the back injury that saw Melton only play 38 games last year, over the last 3 years, he's averaged 7.5 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal and a half a game on 41% from the field and 38% from 3. Melton is currently in the prime of his career and is honestly a great addition to the Warriors roster, especially after moving off of Klay. He is a former 6th Man of the Year candidate, and last year with the Sixers prior to getting injured was averaging a career-high 11 points per game. D-Melt, throughout his NBA career, has gotten better each year on both sides of the ball, and next season I believe he'll be a big part of the Warriors rotation. Moving on to Kyle Anderson. Kyle is a 10-year veteran averaging 7 points, 4.5 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal through his NBA career. He has a 48% field goal average but lacks a 3-point game. And although threes aren't his thing, he does make up for it with his defensive game and resilience, playing in 79 games last year with the T-Wolves. Kyle has a high basketball IQ similar to Draymond's, and his 6'9" stature will go a long way in fixing one of the Warriors' biggest defensive weaknesses last year. This upcoming season, Anderson will be turning 31, and last year one could say was a down year for him with the T-Wolves. Is it because he's aging, or was it simply because when you have the reigning Defensive Player of the Year, Cat, and Ant-Man all playing at a high fucking level, you're asked to do less? In the Warriors system, he can play as a jumbo wing or a small ball center that is comfortable initiating the offense like Draymond Green. I believe Kyle Anderson will be a great addition on the floor and in the locker room, and look forward to seeing him in the blue and gold this upcoming season. Last but not least, let's talk about Buddy. Hield is an 8-year veteran averaging 15.5 points, 4 rebounds, and 2.5 assists through his NBA career. He's a 40% career 3-point shooter and one of the most resilient players in the league, playing in 84 games last season at the age of 31 between the Pacers and the Sixers. In the last 5 seasons, Buddy has made more 3-pointers than Steph Curry himself, and over the last 2 seasons, he's third behind the legendary Splash Brothers duo. Since turning 30, Buddy's averaged 14 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal a game on 40% from 3 and 45% from the field. Last year, however, was a down year for Buddy as the aging veteran posted similar numbers to that of his rookie year. Could it be because he's an aging player who was in a contract year similar to Klay's situation last year on the Warriors? Well, he got a 4-year deal from the Warriors with $21 million guaranteed over the next 2 seasons and a player option in the 4th year that's not guaranteed. The Warriors are hoping that Buddy can replace some of the 3-point production they had from Klay, who was still 4th in the league last year in 3-pointers made. One thing is for sure, his style of play fits in very well with what Steve Kerr and the Warriors like to do on offense. If Buddy can have a year similar to the one he had in his second year in the league, where he averaged 13.5 points, 43% from 3 and 45% from the field, the Warriors should be okay. One thing to note about Buddy, he may not be known for his defense, but his effort is noteworthy and even finished 18th in the league in 2023 with 92 steals. It'll be interesting to see him and Steph on the court together and hopefully in the playoffs. Now, with all that being said, if there had been a way to acquire Kyle Anderson while Clay remained on the roster, with the addition of D. Melton, I believe the Warriors would have been a better version than this current version of the team and closer to competing for a title than with Buddy Hield. With all due respect to Buddy, Clay last year was still better at the age of 34 and suffered a down year because his role on the team was changing and the contract situation was weighing heavily on his mind. Do I think the Warriors are good enough to make the playoffs? I do, but I don't believe they are good enough to compete for a title without Clay on the roster at this moment. If rumors are true and the Warriors want to give Steph and Draymond a real opportunity to compete for a title, they need to acquire Lauri Markkanen. His size plus three-point range and ability to stretch out the floor would be the perfect fit for the Warriors. I still think the deal for Zach LaVine, where the Warriors gave up CP3 and Wiggins and possibly retained Clay, would have been better than these moves that they've made. One thing to note about Clay is his unselfishness to step aside and let someone else be the second option. He did it when KD came to the Warriors, and honestly, if it was to make the team better next year, I could have seen him doing the same thing for Kuminga or Levine if they had acquired him. Coulda, shoulda, woulda, right? I'm not going to act like the moves Mike Dunleavy has made this offseason are bad because they do make the team competitive to make the playoffs next year. They just need one more big move to make them legitimate title contenders and give Steph and Draymond a real opportunity to win. Especially if Clay goes on to win a title with the Mavs over the next 3 years, that's going to be like rubbing salt in an open wound. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen.
Guys, join me, Alex the Man Angelov, and check out A&A Radio, where we're going to be talking about the latest and greatest financial news, investments, banking, and personal finance. Check out the channel and don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops.